We are back. Thanks for staying with us. Joined now by Michael Fallquist. He's a member of the board of directors of Solar Integrated Roofing Corporation. Their stock symbols SIRC. Michael, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Don. Thanks for having me today.
We're really impressed having you on the show this week. Checked a little bit about your background. Very impressive. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
That's very nice of you to say. Started my career as an actuary, spent a few years doing that, went to business school, found my way into banking, worked for Macquarie Bank out of their corporate headquarters in Australia. They moved me to California to work in their natural gas business. From there, I was fortunate to find the retail energy industry, which is deregulation. I joined a company called Commerce Energy out of Southern California, which was a publicly listed stock on the American Stock Exchange. I was chief operating officer. We restructured that business and sold it. From there, I started my own company in 2009, built it from the ground up. 2012, I took it public on the Toronto Stock Exchange, ran it as a public company. We did 14 acquisitions over 7 years as a public company, 12 in the retail electricity and gas space, 2 in the solar space. Ultimately sold that business in 2019 to one of the large integrated players in the space, Vistra Energy, for an enterprise value of about 650 million Canadian. We were able over that period to deliver our shareholders 10% compounded annual growth rate, and we're able to do that while paying out shareholders about $200 million of distributions over that time as a public company.
Well, as I said, a very impressive background. Now, with that kind of background, you can do pretty much anything you want in the industry. What was it about Solar Integrated Roofing Corporation that attracted you?
Well, honestly, from my first conversation with David and then with Pablo, those guys are entrepreneurs. I think one of the things that's lost in business today is people who are true entrepreneurs, who seize opportunity, are willing to take calculated risks. I wanted to be aligned with those guys. I think what they've built to date is fascinating. I think there's a lot of value I can bring given my experience. And frankly, I love the space. I think the renewable space, I just don't think it, I know it, right? The renewable space is going to shape the next 50, 100 years in this country. I think they have a really unique opportunity, given the foundation they have in place and the team that's there, to really execute and create something special. So I was excited to be asked to be on the board. And, my first 3-4 weeks on the board has been very exciting, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, basically, we're in the infancy of a energy revolution, would you say?
I think that's a great way to put it. I think, the transition from fossil fuels to renewables is happening. Grid resilience and the use of technology to, integrate all these renewables into the grid is going to be, on the forefront of people's minds. And I think it's exciting to be in a company that I think has a chance to play a major role in that.
Well, it's interesting because we've been following the company about 6 or 7 years when they were basically a Southern California local company doing a few $1 million in revenue. Now they're a national company doing hundreds of millions in revenue. It's got to be exciting for you to be jumping on board at this time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what, as I told David and I told Pablo, when I built my company, it was fast growth from customer number 1 to 500,000 customers when we went public. And going public on the TSX was probably one of the hardest things we ever had to do. It wasn't about being an entrepreneur. It was about consistent, repeatable growth. It was about financial discipline. It was about controls within the organization. From November 2012 to, really the end of 2013, we just had to grow up as an organization. We went from private directors to public directors. We went from, a company that was run privately to a company that had to pay $1 per share to their unit holders every every month, every year. So, we found ourselves in a situation where you had to grow up. And I think that's a lot of what SIRC is going to go through in the next 12 to 24 months. And that's experience that, I know I can help them with because I've lived it. I've seen firsthand the value of not over-promising to the market, under-promising and over-delivering. I've seen firsthand, articulating a clear strategy and delivering on that strategy. Because at Creus, there were times where we were punished and there were times when we were rewarded. And the times when we were rewarded, it was about discipline, it was about focus and clear execution for the capital markets.
So I would say that's what you hope to bring to the company, basically, this public company guidance.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think an entrepreneur like David, an entrepreneur like Pablo, those are the kind of guys you want driving the ship, right? My job, the other director's job, is to help focus and put guardrails, but you never want to kill that entrepreneurial spirit that's built this company, right? You said it. I mean, you've been covering them for 6 years, and it was, 2 million of revenue, and now it's a public company that is going to exceed, 100 to 200 million dollars of revenue. I mean, that's exciting, and I think it's how do they balance the creation of that and continuing to create that entrepreneurial spirit with creating a business that can create consistent, repeatable earnings that the market can reward them for.
Once again, the company Solar Integrated Roofing Corporation, SIRC. Michael, congratulations on your appointment to the board. I know great things are going to come of it. Thanks so much for joining us.
Don, it's great to be on here. And I'm super excited to be a part of the company. And I look forward to what that company can accomplish and being a part of it. So thanks for having me on the call today.